Hello everybody, it's me, Crafty Elf. You might be wondering why I have a pink background, to which I say, don't ask questions. This may surprise some of you, but I actually really like role-playing games, so I thought it'd be a fun idea if I just filled out a D&D character sheet, but using myself as the base, because I can be a raging narcissist. So that's what I'll be doing today. I'll be filling out this sheet as it'll be sort of like a get to know me kind of thing. So I'll use what I assume to be my real life attribute scores to help inform this. So yeah, let's go. Alright, for character name, you won't get my name, it'll just be Crafty Elf. Haha. As much as I'd love to make me an elf, as that's a playable race, technically I am just a human. I'd like to say my alignment would be neutral good. That seems to fit me the best based on what I've, understood about the alignments. Yeah, that's the easy stuff out of the way. Speed 30. Alright, let's get on to the attributes, which are the fun parts. So, strength. That is... I don't know if you know this, but I kind of have noodle arms. So, I'm going to give myself the benefit of the doubt and say it's a 9, which I'm positing 10 as the average, even though it technically isn't. So 9 is slightly below average. Then we'll move on to dexterity. Now, usually, if for characters you have either they're good in strength or good in dex. And though I'm technically better being more agile and speedy, you could say, I'm not the greatest when it comes to athletics or acrobatics. So we'll say that's an 11. So yeah, dexterity, well, technically above average isn't all that high for me, so I'm actually going to make this a 12, because constitution I'm looking at next, that's also fairly low. This is health, how well you can resist sickness. I mean, I'd say at average, just perfectly average. Let's give me a 10 there. It's nothing special, really. Yeah, you could punch me and it would hurt a lot. So now we get on to the more mental stats, which is where when I rolled my dice pool at birth, I decided to dump all mine. Sorta. We'll get to that. So if I'm being real, the highest stat for me would be intelligence. It's fine. The others are pretty bad. So... I'm fairly smart. Most of my friends know me as, the smart guy, sorta. I can also be fairly dumb, but, everybody can. So, I'm gonna give me a 15, just to have something good to say about myself when this is all over. Wisdom. Now this is an interesting one, because... in D&D terms, wisdom's a little different. It's how aware you are of your surroundings. And I'm fairly aware, mostly because I just stay to myself and don't talk, so there's not much else for me to do besides just look. But, ignoring that, I'd say I'm fairly decent. Will give me a 13, just because, I'm good enough at wisdom in D&D terms. But for me, intelligence is higher. So, yeah, let's actually make that a 14, just so this semi-resembles the standard array. It doesn't really, but it sorta does, if you pretend. Charisma! Alright, so now we're on to charisma. This is the interesting one. The one I'm sure you all wanted to know. So I'm an introvert. I'm not sure if you could tell, but I don't have the best talking to people ability. So in D&D terms, charisma isn't just about how pretty you are. If it were, this would be like a 5 for me. But it's more about how people perceive you, how easily you can handle social interactions. So I can't really do the social interactions part, so if it were just that, that would be a huge knock against me. However, the how people perceive you part is interesting, because I think I have a very specific type of charisma, which I'm calling crazy charisma, because it's for crazy people. That's like, I can't really have a normal conversation. It has to be an insane one, because I'm insane. So, you know, all the more the merrier, I always say, especially when it comes to insanity. So, however, I still am very bad at handling social interactions. So, I think this all rounds itself out to being just an 11. It's 11. Worse than some of them, but better than strength. Like, I can talk, and people do generally seem to like me well enough. I'm just not the best. So I think that's good enough. Honest enough, but it also helps my self-esteem to say that I'm sort of okay. So now we can do modifiers, and I have the book with me, so I can just do that real quick. So 9 is a -1. 12 is a +1. 10 is a 0. 15 is a +2, and so is 14. And 11 is a 0. I have no modifier to charisma, which I guess, considering everything else about me, that's probably the best I could hope for. Okay, let's move on to skills. This could be interesting, because those are just general characteristics, but these are the things you're good at. And looking at this list, I'm not sure if I'm good at a lot of things. So acrobatics. I'd say this is like, you know, if you've ever done gymnastics, that's a word. You don't have to say gymnastry. However, I have done dance. Like, I do dance. I'm not sure if I'm good at it. You know what, let's just give it to me. Looking down the line, there's not that many more that I'll have, really, so let's just do it. Let's say I have acrobatics. Why not? Animal handling. I mean, I like animals. You would probably not trust me to, like, train a horse or something. I don't think I could really do that. Arcana is magic. And though I am going to be doing spells, like, magic doesn't exist in real life, so I'm not really trained in how magic works. I'm just making it up. Athletics. I have noodle arms. Deception. I'm kind of a really bad liar. I just hate, like, everything to do with lying. I have obviously done it before in the past, but, like, that doesn't mean I'm good at it. I could not, like, run a con. I'd be awful at that. We'll skip that. History. I mean, I've studied history, but not, like, extensively. Like, I'm not a history major or anything. I'd just say that's fine leaving it blank. I'm not, like, versed in the lore of the universe or anything. Insight. This is what I might put down, although it is more about judging other people's intentions and seeing what they think, which is something I'm not very good at, actually. So maybe I'll just leave that blank. Alright, intimidation. I actually don't really think I'm all that scary. Like, if I wanted to be, I probably could try, but, like, I don't think I'd be able to pull it off very well. Investigation. You know what? It's been a while. This is one I could sort of see myself being good at. Maybe. It's like seeing things off in a room, or like figuring something out that's missing, or finding a thing. That's something I could do, right? Yeah, let's say it is. Medicine. Just no, I don't know how to do medicine. That's something that you have to study a lot in the real world to be able to do. Nature. You know what? Fine. I really like being in nature. I love like hiking and seeing things. Like I could probably identify a few plants. Maybe. I could just be deluding myself when I'm saying I'm good at it, but I will say that I am. That's how this works, right? Yeah. Perception. This is another one that I think I sort of am good at. Like, seeing details, seeing things that are off. Like, I could fairly easily notice, probably, that if something were missing from, like, a room or a situation or a person. Maybe. Yeah. Performance. I don't know if you know this. If you couldn't tell, I am a big theater kid. Like, really big. Like, I really love theater. I'm an actor. I'm good at performance. This is the one thing I could say for certain that I would definitely fill in the dot. And then we move right on to persuasion, which is something I'm really bad at. Just in general. I don't like persuading people to do things. That's not really my style. Why did I do that? Alright, next we have religion. Okay, without going too much into this, since I know this is an internet video, I'm just going to say I think I am fairly knowledgeable about religion, or at least some religions. So, we're just going to check this and move on. Sleight of hand. This is something I'm not good at. At one point, I do think I wanted to try to do magic, like close-up magic. That did not go well. I could not pickpocket someone. That's just not something I could do physically. So, we're just going to leave that blank. And then we have stealth. So, this is slightly interesting. You might not know this. I'm actually very quiet. I don't know if you could tell by all of the introvertness about me, but I can be very quiet. Even not just not talking, but I walk very silently when I want to. So I've been known to kind of just appear behind people, not really meaning to, just sort of walking silently. They didn't really notice, and I'm just there, listening. That isn't creepy, right? Yeah, that's not creepy. So yeah, I think I'm gonna check stealth. And finally we have survival. As much as I'd like to be able to survive by myself in the wilderness, I don't think I could. That's just not something I could do. I would die very quickly. Alright. I'm not going to bother filling all of these in, but I am going to fill in the ones I have proficiency in. By the way, since I'm level 1, my proficiency bonus is +2. I didn't do that earlier, but I am level 1 because I'm a weakling. Alright, let me just do that real quick. It is literally just math. I'll probably just time-lapse this. Alright, doing this has realized I accidentally did plus exclamation mark, which is not a number. This is a 1. You don't hold down shift when you're clicking 1. That just gives you an exclamation mark, you silly Billy. And my initiative modifier is just a +1 because it's just dexterity. Alright. Now we move on to class. Alright, all things considered, honestly the only class I think I could be is a bard, because all of the other ones are about either fighting or magic, and like, I can't do magic, I can't fight. The only thing I can do is do songs and entertain people, which is what I'm doing right now, hopefully. This is funny, right? Are you enjoying yourself? But yeah, I'm Bard, level 1. As much as I'd like to be like a ranger or a druid and do fun magic stuff, I just can't do that. I can't do magic. Magic doesn't exist. And also, my background will be an entertainer, even though I'm not actually taking anything. Let me focus on spelling this correctly. There we go. That's probably right. So yeah, even though I'm not taking anything from the background, because a lot of it is just skills or equipment, which I'm not going to do equipment because that's just stuff. Like, that doesn't pertain to me as a person. Probably. But yeah, entertainer's the only background that makes sense. Since Bard, that's just the only thing I can do. I can act. I can do whatever this is. I can make music. I cannot fight or do magic. Those are the only two things. Everything else is totally within my power. Definitely. For sure. Alright. So for starting out, hit points is just, for Bard, is just an 8 plus Constitution. My Constitution is a 0, so I have 8 hit points. So now you know how much it would take to kill me. Probably. I'm not sure if hit points accurately reflect real life in that way, but you never know. Okay, under the assumption that armor class, when you're unarmored, since I am, unarmored, is 10 plus dex, I'm an armor class 11. So now you know how easy it is to hit me. Apparently. And I believe that's mostly everything for here, because I'm not doing equipment. Passive perception is 14. I'm not going to do personality traits, ideals, bonds, and flaws, because honestly that requires a little too much self-reflection, and I'm not really comfortable doing that. So we're moving on. Features and traits, that's for magic stuff. I'm not doing that. I can't do magic. We've been over this. Proficiencies. This is where, if this was a resume, you just list your skills. I'm not going to do that. I might do some. I'll just do art. You didn't see anything. Music production, because I actually can't play any instruments. I just do it all on the computer. Now you know. I'm a fraud. And we'll also say bad online videos. Hopefully not this one. This is good, right? I did a good idea. Right? And I can speak English. And that is it. I mean, technically I do know some Latin, but I couldn't speak it. Like, fluently. Alright, that's the main fun part done. Oh, actually, we can do some of this. So, I am 17 right now. I won't be forever, obviously, since that's how age works. But right now I am. I am, we'll say 6 foot. I might not be exactly 6 foot, but rounding, I'm basically 6 foot. I'm not any taller than that, but I'm basically. Weight, I don't know my exact weight. It's been a while since I measured it, but it's roughly 140 pounds, give or take. It's somewhere in that range. My eyes are mostly green. You can't see them for now, but they are green under all this. Skin, I mean, I'm white. There's not much else to say. And hair. I mean, you can see my hair. You can see the hair of my character. It's blonde. I'm a blondie. Blonde. And this is I ain't giving you my backstory. I don't have any treasure. I'm not gonna put it... Well, I have a drawing. I have drawings of it. Shapow! There's a drawing in there now. The power of editing! Alright, spells. Now, obviously, I can't cast spells in real life. We've been over this several times. But, I just kind of want to see what spells would make the most sense for me if I'm starting out as a level 1 bard. So, yeah, let's do that. Okay, and it's kind of hard because my spellcasting ability is Charisma, which is a 0. So, my spell save DC is just 10 and my spell attack bonus is just 2. If this were a real character, that would be a bad decision. But unfortunately, I am a real human. Probably. But unfortunately, you know, what makes a good D&D character doesn't necessarily translate to who I am as a person. Oh well, life happens like that sometimes. It just means my spells are going to be a little less powerful. And we already know I can't do spells. Okay, I get 2 cantrips as a bard and 4 first level spells with a total of 2 slots. So, I'm gonna pick them out right now. I have the book with me and I'll just find some good bard spells. Okay, I've chosen the spells. They're not, you know, the best, and obviously a lot of them won't correlate to who I am, but, you know. Okay, I've chosen the spells, and though, you know, they won't be, you know, perfect, I think they're fine. It doesn't matter. They're spells anyway. It's just magic. It's all just magic. Everything is magic. Wait, I just said, I've been saying this whole time that magic doesn't exist. Okay, for cantrips, which I have 2 of, I've decided to go with mending, because why not? That sounds fairly reasonable, you know? That seems like something that could be done. And also, minor illusion, because you could say I cast illusions with acting. Yeah, that sounds like something that could work. And as much as it would be cool to do vicious mockery, I'm really bad at insults. I have the condition where you think of a good retort 3 days later when you're trying to fall asleep. I'm sure that affects a lot of you today. And for first level spells, disguise self. Again, that's acting. I can disguise self. Sure, that sounds about right. We've also got Featherfall, because I can, like, sort of, because I have been known to, you know, fall, do tumbles, and come out unscathed. That might as well be a thing that I mention here. That's fine. We've also got Healing Word, because even though I can't, you know, heal wounds, I can at least be kind. Anyway, then we've also got Identify, because I can identify things. Probably a lot better than Google's AI can. Alright, and that's it. I hope this was a good video. I really do. I hope I did a good job. And, like, this was actually funny. I'll have no idea. Please be funny, video. I really hope so. Alright. Well, yeah, this has been Crafty Elf. Hope you enjoyed whatever on earth this thing was. Alright. See you next time, I guess. Bye!